Welcome to Chapter 3. This is the chapter where it all starts to come together, so get ready, it's going to move quick. That being said, it may be necessary for you to watch these chapters several times or more until you fully understand each piece of the matrix of bass. It all comes together because it's all the same, but if you don't believe or understand one piece, it won't all jive, and you want everything to jive. Speaking of jiving, when it comes to music, just as a side note of sorts, there's many ways you can approach it. One way we approach it in the matrix of bass is when we're putting together a bass line or a song or whatever you're doing musically, you just decide what mood you want to portray, and then you just simply pick the mode and its number that goes with that mood, and you're off to the races. Nothing can stop you. If you are simply brilliant, I'm sure you already understand how it's all the same. For me, I needed proof, and the proof was inside the Mother Mode Master Map. The map is the secret that unleashes the matrix of bass. You should become very familiar with this map. You should stare at it for hours. You should doodle it on napkins, scrap pieces of paper. In fact, maybe you should consider it for your next forearm tattoo. It would make a really good cheat sheet. As you gaze at the chart, do you see a clear pattern of numbers? The pattern that follows throughout this chart will also be unmistakable and unshakable. Again, the only way for the chart to make sense is to fully accept the theory that the Mother Mode is perfect. Future discussions will focus on the deviations and comparing these exceptions to the perfection of the Ionian mode. So here's the bad news. The rest of our time together will be technical and spent on two charts. And I know that my charts aren't the most exhilarating charts in the world, but they will give you the tools necessary to make other things exhilarating. And the other bad news is you're going to have to spend hours and hours practicing the modes and intervals and not playing cover songs. And I know you want to, and eventually you can put all this information to use there, but you need to practice your modes and your intervals. And what seems like drudgery will actually become the lifeline for all of your future jams, riffs, and licks. And jams, riffs, and licks would be a great name for an ice cream store or an adult toy shop. How would I know that practicing modes and intervals might sound like drudgery to you? Well, because it was for me. And the whole time I was practicing, I just wanted to know what it was and what it was the same as. But the reality is you need to understand music, its parameters, and how it all comes together. And once you understand this, you don't have to think about notes or anything really, because it's all mathematically perfect and it comes together. And this will free up the right side of your brain to focus on other really cool stuff like feel, which is, timing and phrasing and emphasis. And, there's a lot of other cool stuff aside from notes. And so for the good news. The Mother Mode Master Map, when filled out in her entirety, may seem insurmountable. So to improve your mountability confidence, I just want to let you know that when I play out with bands, I very rarely will use the 3, which is the Phrygian mode, or the 7, which is the Locrian mode. And since I very rarely use them, I'm not going to talk about them. And as for the intervals, we don't have to learn our seconds, because once you know your modes, the second interval is just the step after the root note, the second step in the mode. And this seems like a really good segue to start talking about intervals. So let's go. When I got into post-production with Chapter 3, I started to think, y'all might think I'm crazy. You might be thinking, you know what? No, it's not all the same, and no, math and numbers don't belong together. I'm here to offer a little bit of proof that might entice you to at least look into this a little further. Here is the Mother Mode Master Map with the intervals of fifths completed in their entirety. I'm sure you can see that there is a clear direction of flow. Next, I've taken this and I've stacked it upon each other multiple times until it doesn't fit on the computer monitor screen anymore, that chart right there. Pretty amazing. Continues to flow. If you were to take that chart and you were to bend it a little bit, wouldn't you know, it fits onto the outside of a globe. And I'd like to present to you the sphere of fifths. And what is the sphere of fifths? It's nothing more than the mother mode master map, mapped 4 times to the outside of a globe. On the poles, north and south, there are 14 numbers. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, repeated twice. And of course, that would be do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. You will notice that the cells are numbered. They start with the center line, green line, and that would be number 1. Heading north and south are the numbered steps, 1 through 8, that make up each individual mode. Inside the individual cells are the letters for traditional, sharp, or flat. And if they are notated with a red color, that means they have changed their purity or their essence from the mother mode's definition. What you may find very interesting about the sphere of fifths, when put into motion and you notate the exception, it's very clear that a pattern of music exists. Music is never ending, there are no borders, and it will be your job to see if that is true. This information is just given to you to entice you to continue. We'll be discussing all of this information as we go along. I hope you're ready to join me in Chapter 4. Good luck.